Hello and good morning. Joe Justice here, coming to you live. I guess it's good afternoon. We're afternoon right now, aren't we? It is May 25th, 2023, and I am here solo today, no guest today, as we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is marketing. Marketing is definitely close to my heart. I am the marketing director at Advantage Technology, and I've been involved in sales and marketing my entire career for the most part, although I started out doing video production. I've been involved with ad agencies and marketing for a very, very long time, going on 20 years, which is kind of hard to believe. It's hard to believe I'm that old, but the big thing, my burning desire and one of my passions that I like to talk to people about is marketing and to help people improve their marketing. And one of the biggest problems that I always see and I always run into is that people conflate marketing and advertising. They think they're one and the same. They think they're the same thing or very similar things. And they actually aren't. They're not in any way the same thing. Now, advertising is a subset of marketing, but is definitely not marketing. So one time, several years ago, I had a client that I was working with, and he wanted me to help him out with marketing and sales, and I told him, you know what, I'll help you out. I'll spend a couple hours with you. We'll work together. We'll build some funnels, some tools, some branding. We'll put some things together for you to help you get to where you want to be, to improve your sales and all that kind of stuff. So I spent about 2 hours with him one morning, and I worked through, some basic ideas like some pitches and some product structures, some branding ideas. And I created some worksheets for him to work out, to figure out what his customer persona was, and to kind of develop a robust marketing plan, what his pitch was going to be, how he was going to pitch to that target group, how he was going to identify that audience, get out to that audience, on and on and on. I spent a solid morning with him, probably at least 2 hours, maybe even 3. And I had him these worksheets, and I said, now listen, I know this is an awful lot for you to take in all at once, so I don't expect you to, just do all these worksheets and everything and have them all done in the next 10 minutes. So I'm going to circle back around with you next week. You work on some of these, and then we will use all the information that you put together from this worksheet. We will use that information. We'll build you out some funnels. We'll find you some good places to target and some effective ways to spend your advertising dollars. We'll have a solid pitch. We'll have some products. We'll have some pricing structures. We'll get it all taken care of based on the information that you give me from these worksheets. I come back a week later, and I said, so let's see what you came up with. What are you working with? What are you working on? And he said, yeah, you know what? I didn't really do any of those worksheets. And I said, what do you mean you didn't do any of the worksheets? And he said, yeah, I was really confused by all that. I thought you were just going to tell me where to spend my money on radio ads. I want to know what station to put the radio ads on. So it was like this complete disconnect that I had with him. All he had in his mind was doing radio ads, and he thought that like a marketing consultant was just going to tell him which stations to put his ads on, which didn't make any sense. So let's break that out. Let's talk about that. And I've ran into that more than once, this idea that people think that and they get kind of an idea in their head. It doesn't have to be radio. It could be newspaper, billboards, digital, of course, Google, Facebook, broadcast, television. There's all these different ways of advertising, all these different ways of getting in front of people. And there's kind of this idea that there's this kind of magic formula, that there's this magic ad. Well, I ran this ad, I put my logo on this TV station, and the next thing you know, people were just banging down the door wanting to buy my product. Oh, I put my logo up on this billboard, and the next thing I know, the phone's ringing off the hook. And that is not how it works, and that's not even remotely what marketing is. I think we probably get that idea from Hollywood. My guess is there's this kind of trope that you see in movies and stuff where, somebody's, they spend their last nickel on some ad on some station, and they do it, and then the ad runs, and then the next thing you know, the phone starts ringing, and they pulled it off. And everyone kind of has this idea that there's this kind of magic ad that they're going to run, and that's going to do it. But let's take a step back from all of that, and let's talk about what marketing actually is. First and foremost, before you ever get to the point of advertising, what are you advertising? What's your product? What's your pitch? Who are you advertising to? If you're doing advertising and you're selling, let's say, you're selling, let's say you're selling something like, let's say you're selling like a jock strap. Are you going to advertise that to women? No, you would not put that in an advertising medium that targets women. Same thing if you're going to advertise makeup, would you put that in an advertising medium that targets men? And same thing if you're advertising toys. Would you advertise toys to an advertising medium that targets older adults or senior citizens? Of course not. So you have to take a step back from your advertising and you have to look at who you advertising to, who is your target audience, what product are you pitching that target audience? That's where you're starting to get into marketing. Now, once we're in that conversation, now we're in a marketing conversation. We're not in an advertising conversation. And now we're going to take an even further step back. Do you think that anybody in the world today, 2023, the world today, do you think anybody is going to hear your advertisement and they're going to immediately pick up the phone and dial your number? No. I'll just short circuit that for you. If you think that's what's going to happen, you're absolutely flat wrong. What they're going to do is they're going to Google your company. That's the very first thing they're going to do. They want to see what kind of reviews you have. They're going to want to see if you're on Amazon. They're going to want to see if you've got, if you're on Facebook, what kind of comments are you getting on Facebook? They're going to want to, there's all kinds of things that they're going to do. Nobody today, and you know this to be true because you do this yourself, I guarantee it. Even if you hear a radio ad, what's the first thing that you do? Do you call the 1-800 number or whatever? No. You Google it. Or Bing or whatever, it's mostly Google, but you're going to search for it. So that means that you need to make sure that you have a presence available online. So again, before we even get to that advertising point, what are we talking about? When we're having a marketing discussion, who are you talking to? What are they going to see when they go searching for you? What are you pitching them? Are you pitching, even if you have the same product, if it's one product that you're pitching, are you pitching the exact same way to one audience that you are to another? How is your pitch different? If you're talking to a group of men, let's say it's coffee mugs. Coffee mugs are completely universal. They don't really apply to people of any particular age or any particular sex or any other kind of particular demographic. Rich people, old people, they all use coffee mugs. But if you're pitching your product to a particular demographic, you need to customize that discussion to that demographic that you're talking to. Now you're in a marketing conversation. Now we're talking about marketing. We're talking about branding. We're talking about positioning. We're talking about how to handle objections. Once people they want your coffee mug and they want to know, well, why is your coffee mug better than the other guy's coffee mug? And then you're going to say, well, they're all the same coffee mug. Well, as soon as you say that, then you've lost the conversation because your competition is going to say, oh, no, these coffee mugs are for extreme athletes. Then any extreme athlete is going to say, well, that's me. Or any wannabe extreme athlete is going to say, well, that's me. I'm an extreme athlete. I want the extreme athlete coffee mug. And you're going to say, well, there's no such thing as an extreme athlete coffee mug. They're all the same coffee mugs. It doesn't matter. You've already lost the conversation because he's got better messaging. Your competition has better marketing because they're targeting and they're pitching properly. So everything is in place. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what you're talking about when you're talking about marketing. I'm going to expand on some of these ideas down the road, but I wanted to kind of give you kind of an introduction as to what you're talking about when you're talking about marketing. Marketing is not advertising. Marketing is an encompassing concept that handles everything from branding to cost to pitch to how you handle objections to what your presence is when somebody searches for you. All of these elements are part of marketing, and a small little bitty piece of that is the advertising. So when you start thinking about marketing, if the first thing that comes to your mind is, well, we need to get some ads somewhere, you need to take a big step back, and you need to think about far more than just where you're going to advertise. because marketing is a much more complicated topic than that. If you got any questions, you can ask me, drop me a comment, let me know what kind of topics you would like to talk about, or send me a message. Feel free. I would love to answer those. If you have any marketing questions whatsoever, I will discuss them on future shows, but hopefully this will give you a pretty good overview of what you're looking at when it comes to the marketing world. And I've got my new sound box here with me, so I'm going to wrap everything up with a little applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Oh, no. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. We're going to be that way then. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day today. We will be with you again tomorrow. We'll have another great guest. But I hope this gives you a little food for thought in the world of marketing, gives you a little something to think about. Remember, the one and only thing I want to drive home more than anything is marketing is not advertising. Advertising is a small part of marketing. So remember that. Keep that in mind. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, share with your friends. Shoot me a message if you got any questions, if any of this is confusing for you, and I will expand on these ideas in future episodes. Bye for now, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.